Hey everyone, it's still lockdown, and I figured I'd put together a list of movie recommendations to pass the time. When putting together this list, I tried to include mostly small, medium-budget movies that people may have heard of, that maybe flew under the radar, though there are some blockbusters here. I like to think that these movies will help get people's minds off lockdown, but I have to admit there are a couple movies here that are a bit on the nose and may not be the best thing to watch while stuck at home, but I'll get to those as we go. The Gentleman. This is an action comedy gangster movie from Guy Ritchie, and if that piques your interest in any way, you should check it out. But if you need a bit more convincing, then this movie centers around a drug kingpin, Matthew McConaughey, who is looking to get out of the game, but things don't go to plan as characters scheme to take his place. Along the ride we have Colin Farrell, Hugh Grant, Charlie Hunnam, Henry Golding, Michelle Dockery and more, in roles that are quite different from what you would normally expect to see these actors in. This movie is a very, very Guy Ritchie movie. Aside from it being a gangster movie, there's a lot of action, the plot keeps you guessing, and of course there are quick jump cut scenes as a character narrates. Overall, if his movies are not your cup of tea, then this probably won't convince you. But if you've enjoyed his past work, then this movie is a ton of fun and highly recommended.
So you killed someone?
No, it was the gravity that killed him. Gonna need those phones.
Logan Lucky. Just my luck, this was on regular TV, but I'm still going to recommend it anyway. Logan Lucky is a film from Steven Soderbergh, the guy who created the Ocean's trilogy, and much like those movies, this is a heist movie. This movie follows the Logan family as they seek to rob a NASCAR race venue while the race is happening. It's certainly not as high stakes as robbing a Vegas casino, but ends up being very enjoyable nonetheless. There's a great cast featuring Channing Tatum, Adam Driver, Katie Holmes, and one of the highlights being Daniel Craig, who does a southern accent for this movie, and you know, when Daniel Craig does an accent, it's probably a good movie. This movie is a ton of fun and very funny, but what really makes the movie are its very likable characters that inject a lot of heart into the film. Leave No Trace. Leave No Trace is a drama centering on a father and daughter who live out in the woods. The father is a veteran who suffers from PTSD, and the movie follows these two characters and how they get by navigating living in the wilderness, interacting with society, and dealing with the father's PTSD. This is a really good movie with some tremendous performances, especially from Thomasin McKenzie, who you may have seen in Jojo Rabbit and is starring in the upcoming Last Night in Soho. It's a somber movie and has some heavy themes, and maybe might be a bit on the nose to watch during lockdown, but it's really good. If you're looking for something a bit more serious, then you should check this out. Also, it's 100% in Rotten Tomatoes. Knives Out. Knives Out is one of the better known movies on this list, but I'm putting it here anyway because it's pretty great and it's my list. A murder mystery in the style of Clue, this movie features an ensemble cast, and they all bring their A game, full of twists, turns, and great moments on first viewing. This movie will keep you guessing. I should also mention that Daniel Craig is in this and does a southern accent, which is usually a good sign. If you've seen this movie before, it's still pretty good the second time around, especially knowing what's going on and seeing all the little details. Good movie, super fun, something nice to take one's mind off lockdown.
I suspect foul play, and I have eliminated no suspects.
Sing Street. Sing Street is a movie musical about a boy starting a band to impress a girl. While this premise is quite simple and maybe a bit cliche, the execution is really on point. Set in Ireland in the 80s, the music it uses is mostly of that era, with a few original tracks included. While it's set in the 80s, I think it's centering on high school kids, and it being a coming-of-age story gives it a very nostalgic feel, even if you didn't grow up in that era. It's very much a feel-good, heartwarming movie, with a bit of comedy thrown in. Obviously, bursting into song and having songs mix themselves into the movie is to be expected for a musical, though it can feel a bit surreal at times. Anyway, if you're not into musicals, this probably won't convince you, but if you like musicals and or just want something to warm your heart during lockdown, Sing Street is a great choice.
We need to form a band. Connor's putting a band together.
Oh, good Jesus.
Finally, our last two movies are a bit of a yin and yang when it comes to watching movies in lockdown. One is about embracing the darkness, and one is about hope and the spirit of humanity. The Lighthouse. This movie is pretty bonkers. If you're looking to embrace the madness of lockdown, then this movie is probably for you. Starring a whopping 2 main characters, Willem Dafoe and Rob Pattinson, The Lighthouse is an exploration of madness, loneliness, and tediousness. Our 2 main characters are lighthouse keepers confined to a small island in a situation that is somewhat analogous to lockdown. As time passes, all the small problems they have with each other start to bubble to the surface, cultivating in a surreal third act. It is kind of on the nose for lockdown, with a square aspect ratio in black and white. It's probably not what you're used to watching, but the color or lack of and aspect all add to the atmosphere. While mostly being about 2 guys' descent into madness, it straddles the line between drama, horror, comedy, and fantasy. You're never 100% sure what's going on, and it's a real trip. Again, a bit on the nose for lockdown, and if you're looking for something uplifting, this isn't it. But if you want to indulge in the madness, this is the one.
How long have we been on this rock? 5 weeks? 2 days? Help me to recollect.
The Martian. The last movie on this list, and one that you've probably heard of and may have seen, another strangely on-the-nose movie for lockdown. The Martian is based on the best-selling novel from Andy Weir and directed by Ridley Scott. The film follows Matt Damon's Mark Watney, an astronaut who gets trapped on Mars. We primarily follow his survival efforts, with a secondary plot about NASA mounting a rescue mission. In a way, this movie is kind of the antithesis to The Lighthouse. It's about hope, perseverance, problem solving, and imagining what mankind can accomplish. This is a pretty slick production with everything firing on all cylinders. Great performances from the cast, an amazing looking movie. There's a lot of care here taken with the science of the movie to make sure things were realistic, and things like the choice of music really add to the charm of the movie. This was quite a successful movie when it came out, and a lot of people looking at this list may have already seen it, but I think it's worth checking out again, especially if you're feeling down in lockdown. This is definitely the type of movie to lift your spirits and put a smile on your face, and if you haven't seen it before, you're in for a treat.
Mark Watney's still alive.
Woo! In your face, Neil Armstrong.
Anyway, that's my list. I hope it was useful, and I hope you find something you enjoy. If you've already seen everything on this list, then that's cool. Post your recommendations if you want. Otherwise, take care, and I'll see y'all in the next one.